So the member portal is the area that your members can look at secure documents, update their details, look up other members, view and pay their accounts, and the venue management portal is what we use to manage the member portal. So when a member goes to the member portal, the first thing they'll see is the sign-in screen. So what we can do is we can put a logo into that sign-in screen, some welcome text, and then they can log in. So I'm going to do an overview of the member portal and then work through how we manage that with the venue management portal. The first thing that the member will see will be your home screen. It's made up of the menu options across the top and the dashboard tiles. So your account, your tea times, my handicap, business directory, member search. Got one for newsletters here, and there's also one that we can actually use to set the weather radar. Now they can use either the navigation options across the top or the dashboard items. For example, if they wanted to look up and check their details, we could go into My Details in the navigation options or Your Account in the dashboard options. Now the fields that the member sees in here are chosen by you. So these identification fields here, the member search directory fields if you allow a member search directory, and any other details. Now all of these details can be edited by the member, and it will either update your database automatically or it will drop into a file which you then review and accept into your data file. So it's your choice. They can navigate to their accounts area, and you choose through the membership options which accounts you'd like them to see on the web. You can also choose whether to have account payments and whether or not the accounts that you're actually showing on the web are going to have the make payment button against it. So for example, we could take away the make payment button against the house and only have a make payment button against subscriptions. You can choose what the total just here is comprised of. So it might just be the total of both of these accounts, or it might only be the total of the subs account. Now the member directory, if you allow that to be on your member portal, this is where members can look up other members. Okay. And whether or not we can see those details is up to the member. If you're a golf club, you'll have the tee bookings screen. So you can see which ones are open, and if we scroll down we can see when the ones that are coming up to be opening, when they'll be opening. Now by default it'll be 30 days, so you can click into this box here and look further into the future. Now you can see what's happening into the future. There'll be the results page as well. And then you can also add user-defined, such as newsletters, any club content that you want to make available to members. So we can either have it as a navigational option, or we can have it as a dashboard tile, or both. So you can see the member search is also in the home page as a dashboard tile. It's the same menu option at the top. Now to set all this up and to manage it, we use the venue management portal. I will be emailing everyone the details of the login to the venue management portal and your URL for the member login. So that's our venuemanager.micropower.com.au, and we manage everything through these drop downs in the member portal. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the log-on page. Okay, I'm going to go back to the member portal and sign out so you can see what happens. So in the venue management portal, I can add a logo. I can select a logo. And I can make changes to the text. Now I can modify that, make it bold, make it larger, make it left, make it right, etc. And I save my changes, and I go back to my member portal and refresh the screen. You can now see my logo and my changes. So you can control that through the member portal and the log-on page. So I'll log back in. The next part is working out what you want to see on your dashboard. So all of these tiles here, this page was blank when we first started and we've added them. So we do that again through the member portal and dashboard. Now we can move them around. If we wanted to swap the existing newsletters with the weather radar. So when you're doing this, you'll have both screens open. You'll have your member portal open and the venue management portal open, so that as you're making the changes you can see what's happening. I'll refresh this page, and now I can see that the weather radar has moved and my newsletters are down here on the left. If I want to delete one, simply a matter of being in the venue management portal and deleting a tile. If I want to add a new one, it's add new item. Give it a name. And then choose from the drop-down box what you're adding. So details is the member details, member directory, loyalty, events, my tea times, business directory. So it depends on what you're looking for here. Could be an external website, which is how we did the weather radar. We go and find the external URL, copy that, pop it into here, give a description, check whether it's to open in a new window and whether we want to display the name. You can put a background image against it. We save that, and that's given me a new tile. If I go back to the portal and refresh, I've now got a new tile. Now that won't go anywhere because I haven't put a URL against it, but one I made earlier, the weather radar, opens a new page and goes to the appropriate URL. Now to manage the details screen, so my details, these are the fields that the member will be able to view and the fields that they would be able to look up against any members in a member search directory. In the venue management portal, under the member portal drop down, we go to profile layout. You'll see on the left hand side all of the available fields. Now these come directly from your membership database. You'll notice that some of them have a little round circle with a line through it. What you can see down the bottom here is that members cannot edit this field. And you'll see under the Member Directory tab the lock. So that is where you determine whether the members can keep this information private in the member search directory or whether it will be shown always. Okay, and to do that, it's just to click onto the lock and it will change. Make sure to update. Now this tab here is all about the member directory. So just to remind everyone what that is, either on the home page, our member search, or our member directory navigation option, if you have this option, it's where a member can look up another member. So if the member is available, they'll show, and then we can click Show Details. Now if the member has allowed these details to be visible, they will then show. Now we've selected that this membership category 1 is always shown. So these are the options: first name and surname, mobile, date of birth, email, and that's my user-defined text is where I'm showing the member category. That's why the lock is closed. You can use any of the fields from the left-hand side in the member search directory, completely up to you. And in the member details tab, just next to that, is where the identification details and the other details come from. And that is in our My Details. So if we want to bring across, for example, postcode, we can just click and drag. If we want to move it around, we can. Always remember to scroll to the bottom of the page and click Update. Now as you add more fields into these boxes, so I'll just add a couple more, you can see that the box is automatically adjusting the size. And as I update that and go back to the member portal and refresh, either by clicking on Home and going back to My Details or just by clicking the refresh button, we've now got our extra information here. There's no hard and fast rules about which fields that you can have in the identification details versus what can be in the directory details and the other details. What I will say is to be completely aware at this point in time that these fields that you bring across can be edited by the member. Part of our future development will be to set read-only against these fields, but it's currently not there. So be very careful when you move any of these fields across that you're happy for them to be edited by the member. So things like financial to date, join date, things like that, even though the field's available in the venue management portal, I wouldn't be bringing that across. You'll be alerted as soon as we've done that development where the fields are read-only, and then they can be brought across safely. But for the moment, just be aware of that. If we want to remove something, just X and then update. Now you'll notice on this member details screen that we're in here, you can also see the directory fields in the middle of the screen. That's just to advise which fields have already been used in the member directory. Now they can also be updated by the member. They show here. And where I was talking before about the member being able to make their information hidden or visible, that's in these settings here. So I'm logged in as a member. I'm happy for my mobile to show. I change it to visible and then save the changes. And if I want to put in a change, it's simply click in the box and save the changes. This screen's also where the member can add their own photo, add a picture of themselves, and change their password. Now the change password will automatically update your database, no user intervention required, but you can have the option for all the rest of these fields to either update your database automatically, or you can run a process where you check what's been updated and then you accept or reject those changes. Now, as you get closer to going live, that's something that we'll discuss. You'll let me know which setting that you want. I'll set that, and that will be that. You can change it. So if you decide to start off by reviewing all of the member changes that members make and then decide, nope, I want to allow the system to automatically update it, you just let us know and we'll change that for you. Okay, so the next section is My Accounts. You can have the option to view and or to pay. The first option is setting in the Micropower membership database which accounts we're going to publish on the web. And once we decide which accounts we're publishing on the web, they'll display. Member can come in, click on either one of these, and they'll be able to see the transactions. Okay. The date range of these transactions is determined by you in your closed period settings in the Micropower database. So under closed period, there's an internet statement date range. You'll have a from and a to date in there. So you can set it from the dawn of time to the end of time, for the current membership year, for the current month, completely up to you. The balance will be the current balance. These transaction dates under here could be forever. Now the headings across the top, when we go in and view the transactions here, the headings across the top are determined by you, the date, the description, net, GST, total and paid, etc. Managed through the venue management portal. So there's three sections for the accounts. There's the account statement, the account balance and the payment options. So the first one we'll look at is account statement. They're the headings across the top. So if I take all of those headings out and update that, and I'll just return all of the default ones. What I'm doing here is I'm clicking into this box, all of the options available. I'm going to click all of them so that you can see all the ones you can use. So I'm just clicking, it's bringing them up. I'll update. Go back to the member portal. I'll refresh and you'll see that the options across the top have changed. So it's up to you. If you think that the reference column, for example, might be confusing, or you don't think it's necessary to be there, maybe you don't want the net and the GST, maybe just the total. In the venue management portal, we can take out the reference, take out the net and the GST, update, back to our member portal, refresh, and now you can see that we've got rid of the reference. So now we've just got the date, description, total, paid and balance. The balance is not a running balance. It is a balance of the total less what's paid. Down the bottom here we've got a total, and as I mentioned earlier, we can determine what that total is made up of. So you might have a house account with a $50 credit and subscriptions of $100. By default, it will add the two together and you'll have a total owing of $50, which doesn't always accurately reflect what the member owes. So what we can do is we can exclude the total of the house from this total down the bottom and only show that the member owes $100. So the house total would be just for the member's visibility only. And the way we manage that is again in the venue management portal under account balance. So the account statement's the headings, account balance is what we're including. Okay. So if we're doing account payments, we can allow specific payment of accounts. So if you only allow subscriptions account to be paid, this is where we would add in the subscriptions account. And if we only want to include in the balance the subscriptions account, this is where we would put it in. So they're the two options. And then if you opt to make payments, allow the members to make online payments, we manage that in the payment options. Now we have three options at the moment. We have PayPal Business, Secure Pay, and Payment Express. When the email comes out to you with all of the information about your member portal and your logins and passwords for the venue management portal, it will also contain information about the payment gateways. If you're currently using our Club Link product and moving across to member portal and you are using PayPal Payflow, we'll need to have a discussion about moving to one of the newer payment gateways, which I'm happy to do that. Okay, so we send the notification of payments, set up whether we want to be notified of successful and failed payments and whether the member is notified of those. And then we select our payment gateway. One of the three, we add in our security options and then tell the system which cards we're accepting. Now we might be accepting MasterCard, Visa, Diners and Amex, and we may or may not want card surcharges. If you do want card surcharges, make sure that the payment gateway that you go with allows multiple card surcharges if you want that. If you just want a blanket rate of say 1.5% across all cards, not all three of the payment gateways will support that. Not all payment gateways support variable percentages. So for example, if I had Amex and I wanted to do a 2% charge, not all payment gateways support that. So we set up that payment. Once we've set up all of that payment, that's then available online. So in the member portal, we have the Make Payment buttons. When we click on those Make Payment buttons, that takes us to our payment gateway. Now the payment gateway takes care of all of the encryption and compliance details. We don't keep a record of any credit card details, and the website or the club aren't involved in any way in keeping those details. Okay, so the next thing that we can look at is customizing. So on our member portal, on our home page, as well as our menu options up the top, we've got a newsletters page, we've got my new page that I created earlier, the weather radar. So this can be for any club content. So for example, newsletters. In the venue management portal, we have club pages which we add club content to. So in the club pages, okay, I've got my newsletter page, and this is where I tell the page what content to look for. Now adding club content, go into club content, add the new content. Now it can be a file or it could be custom content, which you put in your own custom content. I'm going to add a PDF. So I need a heading. I need to give it a tag. I would recommend having separate tags for newsletters, for example, you could set up a tag called newsletter, and then it would pick up every PDF that you tag as a newsletter in the newsletter page. The disadvantage of that is if you wanted to remove older newsletters, you wouldn't be able to, because if you removed one, you'd be removing all of them. That's why I've got December newsletter, Feb 2017. You decide what the tag is to be called. So if I had January, for example, I add the new tag, select the file, save that. Now I can see that my content has been saved. Now I need to reference that tag against the club page. So I'm back to club page, I'm going into newsletters, add a couple of enters, and then I go and select the tags that I want to see. Now if I had more, I can just keep going in, adding the tags as I need to. Save that. When I go back and refresh on the member portal, and click into newsletters, I see my February newsletter. I've selected that to open in a new page. If we go back to our club page, and we can also have a bit of a blurb, so download a copy of the current newsletter, hit below. Again, you can make changes to that, make it bold, put it in the center, etc., etc. Always remember to save. Now we've spoken about the member directory. You can also add a business directory. This is where the members can add their own businesses. Now the first thing we would normally do is set up some business categories. It could be plumbing, it could be electrician, it could be web developer, any of the categories. And we can add listings as well as the member can add their own listings. Now if we set up the categories in advance, we can control what categories those business listings are going to be in. You can add in your sponsors in here, or you could actually use the tiles to go to an external website to have your sponsors on a tile on this front page. So for example, we went into the dashboard, we add new item. Okay, Micropower is our sponsor. We want an external website. We find the URL either by just typing in the URL or actually going to the website, copying that URL, pasting it back here. Put a description, open a new window, add an image if we want to. We save that. Now when we go back to the member portal, we can now use that for sponsors, use that for anything that we want the members to be going to, the radar, newsletters. The option at the bottom here, customize styling. This is where you can add a CSS file, which could then be used to style this area here more toward the look and feel of your website. There's three different options for the member portal. So the blue that you see here and these options, that is the stock standard. It's ready to go. We can pop that onto your website and off you go. The second option is to add a club style sheet, which means that you could change the font, change the color. If you have those skills, or if you have a web developer, the only requirement is that the file is called club.css. That information will also be included in the email that comes out. And the third option is for your web developer to completely develop the page however you want. So it may not look at all like this screen that we're looking at here. It might be completely different. So you can go from an out-of-the-box solution right through to a completely unique solution developed by your web developer. So this is the way that we manage through the venue management portal all of the options that we can do on the member portal. What I'm going to do now is just open up for any questions. You've got a chat box, and if there's any questions or if there's anything you'd like me to go back over, please let me know. If you would like me to speak to you about something completely different off air, just let me know. I've just been asked, where can we find this video? Excellent question. In the Self-Help Center in Micropower, so when you're either going through the Micropower database, there is the help and there's the Micropower Service Center option, or you can just go to micropower.com.au and you've got the Service Center login up the top right here. And your login and your password. If you've forgotten your password, the login is usually your email address. You can do the forgot my password, we'll send you an email so you can reset it. Okay, so once you come in here, you'll see the Self-Help Center on the front page. And once I've downloaded and done everything that I need to do to it, I will put it into the member portal. And in this member portal area here, there are already some little ones here. So how to add a logo or a welcome message, how to add, edit or remove dashboard tiles. So what I've done is I've started to break it down into quick little how-tos. So how to access your venue management portal, etc. So that will be in here. How do you obtain access to the venue management portal? Okay, I will. So this is the URL here. So what will happen is that you'll log in, you'll be asked for a username and a password. Now I'll set those up as soon as we finish here. Some people who are watching this for the second time, you'll already have yours. If you're having an issue with your password, just let us know and we'll reset that for you. Everyone who's new, I'll be sending out an email today and it will have your username and your password. The password that's initially set will be only for the initial login. You'll be asked to change that when you first log in. Any further questions? Okay, well I'll stop the recording there. As I say, we'll pop it up onto the Self-Help Centre, but if you think of anything or you want to go through anything, just let us know and we'll certainly help you out. Thanks everyone for your attention.